it easily because you're like, oh, crime, I'll solve that, and then you're like, wait, what was I doing again?
I don't know, something about finding an octopus dude or something like that. It'll be fine. New York can take care of itself.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, open world games that it really does depend because like on the one it's a fine balance. If you make a ticking time bomb, then you're making the optional missions seem very well not quite in line with the game, but if you make it with a goal that is so far in the future that there is no time bomb, it's like what's the incentive to go there? So it's a very fine balance, and I don't know the answer to that
I
yet.
do like the idea of like when you go to each village, there's a notice board, and it's like, yeah, obviously there would be Witcher contracts up,
Yeah,
but then it does feel like there's so much faff, and they're just trying to say. It felt like they were just trying to be like, our game has 200 hours of playtime. It's
Mm.
so worth the money, and you're like, yeah, but also a really good, succinct story that keeps me engaged for like 12 hours straight would also be worth my money. So
yeah. That's one of the things from a couple of years ago where EA was just going, oh, no one cares about linear stories anymore. Everyone wants open world and live services. And I'm like, dude, no.
yeah.
This is factually incorrect, but you do you, EA. You do you.
I think Horizon Zero Dawn did a good job because there aren't too many um, side quests going on, but also a lot of your missions aren't time dependent. They're sort of like, hey, if you go to this location, you'll find the next clue about what you're trying to unearth.
Yeah, I remember enjoying Horizon quite a bit as well. That felt like, from what I remember, I have to play it again to refresh myself, but it had a good balance of okay, it's kind of open, but it's also linear, but it's kind of not kind of thing going on, and that was interesting. Um, I think my chill out game is basically just Death Stranding. Like whenever I get too stressed out, I just put Death Stranding on and then just walk as Norman Reedus for 5 hours, and then just like okay, I'm ready to take life on again.
I think my chill out game's The Sims.
I can't handle The Sims.
That's
Like
fair.
I always
It's not
just
for
go,
everyone.
what's the most creative way I can kill people?
Yeah.
Always be Animal Crossing.
Oh,
Mm.
Animal Crossing's a good one as well.
Just turn my
I
brain
haven't
off.
been on it. Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna go catch some bugs and build a house.
Yeah. It's weird. My Christmas game is Bloodborne, and that is the least Christmassy game you could possibly think of.
Yeah.
It's got snow in it, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Also, we're live. Hello, everyone.
Oh,
Hello.
hi.
Didn't see you there.
Yeah, literally. But hope everyone's had a wonderful week. How have you two been? I don't think we've actually asked about that. We just went right into the video games.
Just
Actually,
games.
how are you two?
Good. I've got a
Yeah.
bit of a cold. Other than that.
I'm all right. I've been getting on with some uni work that's been keeping me busy. I think I would have gone crazy in this third lockdown if I didn't have uni work to keep me going.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, at least you're going to be keeping busy with something, I guess.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it though? That's the question.
My uni work?
Yeah, I mean, you can choose to enjoy your uni work if it's interesting.
No, I do. I just wasn't sure whether you were asking if I was enjoying something else.
Oh,
No, yeah.
yeah.
Really enjoying my uni work. It's very different to sort of anything that I've done before. I've sort of just jumped in and tried to learn and teach myself new software. So I've been playing around with Unreal Engine for a little bit and making
Ooh,
environments and yeah.
very interesting. So what's okay? So what's the Unreal Engine and the environments for? Like, is that related to uni as well?
Yeah, so the course itself is about like creative technology and immersive technology. So just like um, how they can create immersive experiences and what that does to different businesses and industries, and how we can use that in our everyday lives and work. And so everyone on my course has come from like completely different backgrounds, but then I'm trying to learn how to use this technology in performance, sort of in relation to performance. So I'm trying to work out what immersive theatre piece, what this technology brings to it. I'm sort of kind of working towards prototypes for a immersive piece of theatre that would, so it'll have like a couple live actors that are running in and out, but for the most part the audience members are using their phone to like scan different things around the room, so it'll be set up as though it's like someone's living room, and they'll scan photos or little ornaments or maybe like objects that are around the house, the room, and then from that they'll sort of get augmented reality-esque little scenes, or maybe they'll get audio clips, and then there'll be what I'm using Unreal for is to create an environment that then can be projected onto the walls that could also potentially be interacted with.
It kind of reminds me of detective mode from Batman.
Yeah, it's exactly like that's what in my head.
Okay. Oh, that's kind of really cool.
It was a lot of like how in video games you can just go around and you scan things and then they give you little clues and information. And I like
Sounds
that.
really cool.
And I want to see how we can do that in real.
So kind of like Pokemon Go, but with the performative arts.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Neat.
interesting.
Very.
Yeah.
I've been getting back into drawing again, so I've just been practicing drawing anime characters. I'll put a picture in the Discord if you want to see it.
Well, it's only
Yeah.
if you won't mind me sharing it with people.
Oh no, that's fine. Like I said, it is practice, so like some of the characters' eyes are in like weird places because I can never seem to get eyes right. But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
I'll share that. I'll share that in the group chat a bit later when I can get to my phone, like when we take a break or something.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, it's been nice and chill drawing.
Nice. I've just been started The Last of Us Part 2 for a 5th time.
Oh, fun times.
The 5th time.
Yeah, because I'm doing a diagnosis of it for the YouTube
Yeah.
channel, so it's taken a while to break down everything.
Right.
Quite the hefty project, so yeah.
Yeah.
But spoiler alert, it's not good.
You don't like it?
I
You do
thought
not like it.
it's like I said, there's a lot to talk about it. Narrative is all over the place. Mechanics are incredibly outdated, considering it's 2020.
Maybe we
big
should
issues.
watch. Maybe we should watch your YouTube series and then talk about it on here.
Or maybe I could just play it online and we
Just
could all
play
just
it for us.
stream it together and say, oh, well,
Yes.
see, here's the thing.
We could do a side thing, just what we watch together, and just watch your videos and talk about them.
Oh my god. I don't know, like, are you willing to sit through me talking
I
about
don't
Enola
mind.
Holmes for
I
3
mean, I've
plus
watched-
hours?
I mean, I've watched your first 2 parts
Can
of
you
it, so it's
What
fine.
about Enola Holmes for more
Oh,
than
no.
like 10 minutes?
Sorry?
How can you
Huh?
talk about Enola Holmes for more than 10 minutes?
There's a lot of issues in Enola
There's
Holmes.
a lot of problems.
There's a lot of issues, and all you have to say is the film needs improvement, and I'm going to walk away from it.
No, he can't do that.
Oh,
See,
like-
when it's like there's a problem with it, it's like, and here's why, and then
Yeah.
The
we get
film upset
10
me.
hours plus
but it was like-
explanation.
Yeah, it's very like I think David was the one who brought it up. David Banks. He was like, "You spoke for about a good
GG.
5 minutes on the opening credits. That's impressive." I'm like, I try.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of finishing up part 3. I'm just trying to work out the YouTube copyright stuff. So hopefully that'll be up this
Oh,
week.
yeah.
And then part 4 It's gonna be spicy.
Ooh, spicy! I'm excited. I am literally struggling to find the time to film my video at the moment because my microphone is stolen from me from most of the week because obviously my partner streams like most days, so he's stealing the microphone. So I'm thinking maybe one of us needs to buy another one.
Get him to buy it. You bought yours first.
And technically, he bought mine for me as a present.
Oh.
So I was like,
Well, seeing as it's a present, technically,
Still
it
yours.
Yeah.
you know.
I think he might be planning to get a new mic, possibly. I don't know. I think it's probably a good idea at this point because I'm like, I want to make my video, and I homeschool every day, so it's like weekends are literally the only time I can do it.
How's homeschooling going?
Oh, it's so stressful. Like, it's really good because it's kind of like I can sort of impart my knowledge about stuff, but at the same time, it's like if he's got to do an English thing, my son is literally like, I hate writing, so he'll try and write as little as he can, or he'll get into an argument with me about why he has to write. Like, basically, he's like, why do I have to do this? Like, it's not going to give me any skills, and I'm like, you're 7. Literally, he will get in a debate with me about why he shouldn't have to do it, and it's really.
I like the cut of his jib.
It's
that
impressive.
Little boy.
Yeah, I'm like, I am very impressed. Like, he's like not one to back down, so I'm like, he's gonna be fine. The bullies are not gonna bother him. He's just gonna be like, nah, this is why you shouldn't bully me.
They'll probably get bored and walk away.
That's what I mean.
If it was me, on the other hand, ooh, you'll get like a 10,000-word dossier on why I should not be doing this.
Yeah. No, most of the time it's just, if you don't do your work, you can't go on the PlayStation, so you can take as long as you want doing it, but you can't go on the PlayStation until you finish it. And that usually works.
It'll always work. Until he gets his own.
Yeah. Maths, though, my god, he's better at it than me. Like, it's amazing, like, how good he is at it. I'm just like, where did you get your brains from? Because it's obviously not come from me.
Ooh, nice. Matt's very good. He might be Asian.
No. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, right. So what have you guys watched over the past week? I am very curious.
I have watched The Prom, and it has just furthered my hate for, I cannot remember his name. I keep forgetting his name. Big dude.
James Corden. Can't stand him.
Thank you. I always see. This is how much I don't like him. I can't remember his name.
I love the fact that Elissa knew exactly who it was from just you going, like, big dude.
Well, not even that. It was like, as you said, I can't stand him. I was like, oh, it's going to be James Corden. Who likes James Corden at this point?
I mean,
he went to America and he sold himself out.
Yeah.
I never liked
just
him,
like
so
watching it through, it's just like, I haven't liked him either. I think the only thing I liked him in was Gavin and Stacey, and after that I was like, actually no, this person sucks. I don't like him.
I get a vibe that he's just quite. I mean, to be fair, it might all just be an act because people who are very overconfident are usually very insecure. But he just feels so arrogant.
Yeah, this is what annoys me though. Like, The Prom is a really like LGBT positive film because obviously it's about a lesbian couple who basically they just want to go to prom together, and it's a really cute musical about just these two people trying to struggle to be accepted, basically. And then you've got James Corden running around doing an extremely gay caricature, and it's like, why is he here? If you take him out, the movie's perfect.
Yeah, and you also like it makes you question, because obviously I'm definitely somebody who's like believes that anybody should be able to play anybody in sort of acting environments, obviously with limits. A white person should not play a black person, but why can a straight person not play a gay person and a gay person play a straight person? But when you've got straight people who are sort of stereotyping and caricaturing, and you're at that point you're like, well, no, if you're going to do that, then
I mean, we've got plenty of great examples of straight actors playing LGBTQ characters, so it's definitely going to be based on the person who is doing the performance in the first place, or the direction, or the writing, or a combination of all three. So, see,
that's the only thing that frustrated me. Like, I have no problem with straight actors playing gay roles because it's acting. But if they're gonna act like a caricature, then it's like, why is it there? Because it's like you are leaning into harmful stereotypes,
Yeah.
and the film is supposed to be about acceptance. So it's like, I don't get why you've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked the film, just didn't like James Corden in it.
Fair enough.
And what else did I watch? I started watching a series called Designated Survivor. That's pretty
Ooh.
cool. I just watched the pilot last night, and it's basically there's been like a massive bombing at the Capitol in America, and literally the entire of Capitol Hill is destroyed and kills all of the politicians in Capitol Hill. So this designated survivor is basically the politician that's lowest of the low on the bottom of the food chain. Like everyone just kind of is like, oh, they're not really a politician. They just kind of work with like trying to rehome people and stuff like that. So he's quite a left politician. So they're like, oh, nobody like really wants to have anything to do with him. And the next thing, it's like, hi, you're the president now. Everyone else is dead. And it's like, whoa.
Oh my God.
That escalated. Literally, this is within like 8 minutes. And I'm like, whoa. This
you've
is
got a hook.
heavy. But I was like, I am hooked. I want to see what they. This is quite interesting. I'm not normally into really like. I'm not really into like things to do with politics in films. That's not normally a thing I'm into. But like, I want to see what happens with this one.
Sweet.
It's got Kiefer Sutherland in it as the president, so.
Oh, yes.
I'm having a good time with it.
Every time I think of Kiefer Sutherland, I keep thinking, you were a vampire once. And
Yes.
that just makes me smile.
Yeah. He's very good in this. Like, I'm enjoying it.
Sweet. And Elissa, what have you watched?
So what have I watched? I tried Bridgerton, but couldn't get into it.
Oh, yeah. I have so many problems with Bridgerton.
Yeah. It was mostly
many.
just the writing, to be fair. It was so like I loved the costumes and it looked really cool and fantastical, but the script just it felt like they were trying really hard. Every line was trying to be something that it didn't need to be. And then what have I been watching? I tried that I think it's called Social Distanced on Netflix. It's like a new TV show that has been completely filmed in isolation. So it's
cool.
like actors who have just sort of filmed. I get the impression as well that a lot of it was just the actor filming their lines with their own camera, sat at a desk or sat in their house, and then sent it off, and then the editors put it together to make it look like people were talking to each other on video cam, which means that the acting's a bit skew-iffy because no one's reacting off each other. That's okay. It's kind of nice. It's kind of relatable, but also I'm like, I don't want to be watching this. This is just a sad reminder of my own life. I binged my way through the last season of Sabrina. I haven't watched any of the others, but Nate's watched all the way through.
Hang on.
Nate's been watching them all, and so he started watching the last season. And because I was like on my laptop doing my own stuff, I got into it. It's complete trash, but we love it. It's every teenage romance trope and every sort of teenage horror trope. But no, it's great fun.
So it's a CW show on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it's supposed to connect up to
Riverdale,
isn't it? Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
It's like
okay.
the same world.
So yeah, it's set in the same world as Riverdale. So there you go. That tells you all you need to know about it.
Oh, very much so.
There's such a wonderful episode where because what they've tried to do is they've tried to have Sabrina sort of fighting demons and evil witches and evil catastrophes that are coming to destroy the world, and then you've also got her friends who are going through high school doing like, oh no, battle of the bands, how will we cope?
So what you're saying is it's the equivalent of trying to find Siri while also searching for a woman's saucepan.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds. You know, that kind of sounds right up my alley.
There's- yeah, it's to be fair, I loved it, I'm not gonna lie.
Nice.
Oh, you sent your drawing.
I did.
That's so cute. Oh, I love it. It makes me reminds me of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be two characters from Kingdom Hearts because I am in love with that series.
Ah.
Ooh, let us have a look-see
My
here.
partner's just called me a nerd. He's not wrong.
Who called you a nerd?
It's not ironic because I'm like.
Ryan just called me a nerd,
Ah. Well.
which I'm like, he's not wrong.
Anything more.
Sweet. So you watched anything else, or has that been the extent of the excitement?
I'm trying to think.
I think that's the extent of my excitement.
Yeah. I mean, I started watching The Office to see what all the fuss was about because I've never
Oh my
watched The
god,
Office
I
before.
love The Office.
I do enjoy it.
rewatch it like every year.
I see. I'm like that with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I rewatch it so much, but like with The Office, there is like, I'm enjoying it, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I enjoyed like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or The Good Place.
Are you watching? Have you gone past the first season yet?
Yeah, I'm on season 2, so I'm sort of like, I'm guessing it probably gets funnier like as the seasons go on.
Yeah, I mean the first season isn't really good at all. I mean, a lot of
No.
that. I think it got cancelled after like 6 episodes, and then it was like iTunes, Apple TV, or somebody picked it up, and then they started remaking them again.
Yeah.
But I think you as well, once you like know the characters, and it gets funnier, and when you like start rooting for them or start hating them, it gets a lot
Yeah.
better.
Oh, there was one episode where I think the cold open was basically they put all of Dwight's stuff in a vending machine. That made me laugh. That was really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's like, "Oh, I need my wallet," and it's like, "Oh, look, it's there. It's 8-3 in the vending machine."
My thing, I think that keeps taking me back to The Office is I can't get enough of. I'm a big sucker for romance, and I just
God.
I love the Jim Pam.
Oh yeah, they're really cute.
story.
I don't think I know anyone who hates the Jim Pam relationship.
I think there are people who don't like Pam I think because they're just so in love with Jim, and you get people who are just angry.
Well, we call those people wrong.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose it's my turn then.
Yes.
I finished Sweet Home on Netflix.
Ooh.
Very good first 8 episodes. Last 2 episodes kind of fall off a cliff, but I was still really invested in them, so I was like, alright, I'm cool with the show going off the rails for a moment. Finished Moriarty the Patriot, and my god, it feels so good to watch something that treats the Sherlock Holmes property with a bit of respect. Considering I spent like 8 hours a week or sometimes more just looking at Ilona Holmes. It just kind of depresses me. And then just played a lot of Hollow Knight, Last of Us, and yeah, that's about it really. Live a very frugal life.
Nothing wrong with that.
Hooah.
Oh yeah.
So, Elissa, you are a wonderful returning guest, and we're talking about a little film called
The Social Dilemma.
That's the Bastard. Yeah.
I wasn't sure whether that was like, is that for
was like,
me to like come in? Was that an introduction?
No, I literally, because I was like, the social what? And I just kind of forgot.
Social
and I was
Dilemma.
yeah, The Social Dilemma. So, a very interesting film that was recommended to us by the lovely Elissa. So, would you like to give us a quick description of the film for us, please?
Okay. It is a documentary that's been made by the CEO. I think it was him that sort of spearheaded the documentary, the CEO of a organization called the Center of Humane Technology, and they're just trying to encourage regulations to be made for tech companies and for governments to sort of for platforms like Facebook and Twitter to take responsibility, and for governments to actually sort of wake up and start doing something about this evolving technology.
Yeah, that was pretty succinct. Yeah, there was a lot of really fascinating things being covered in the social dilemma as well, and it was okay. I don't know about you guys, but was that watching the film? Did it have that moment where you keep trying to think of this is something I feel, but I'm not quite sure how to put into words, and then the film just perfectly articulated everything?
Yeah, I think I get what you mean.
You sort of like have those weird feelings around like how much I use my phone, and like the one that sort of hit me was when they called you play that slot machine, and I was like, that's exactly what I'm doing every time. I'm staring at my phone, I'm waiting to see that little green light to start flashing. I pick it up. Oh, what's this notification? Maybe this is somebody messaging me. Oh, it's just the weather. Okay, put it down.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll check it now. Maybe it's something more exciting.
Yeah. Oh,
Literally.
it definitely made me go, right, that's it. I'm searching my YouTube videos because I kind of just do click on recommended videos. I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. It just made me go, I was just kind of like, for a day, I was kind of like, I don't want to touch my phone or anything to do with like social media today.
I think it's because I had a really long conversation with my partner about it afterwards, and his big thing was that social media, he doesn't like it when people say that like social media is the problem or social media is destroying democracy, because it's not necessarily social media, and it's not even the CEOs of these companies, it's the governments who aren't regulating them or moderating them.
That's yeah, I kind of get what you mean, because something similar is happening in the gaming industry as well with regards to microtransactions and loot boxes, and that's a big thing I connected with this as well, because like because social media and online gaming and stuff like that is so new. I mean, it's been around for about 20 years, so technically it is new in the grand scheme of things. So the law hasn't really caught up with it, and we're in a really interesting transitional period where the law is catching up, and we're starting we're in the initial stages of the starting period of the change in a weird way, if that makes sense. So where it goes from here could be Blade Runner, or it could be something a lot more hospitable.
Yeah, just going back to talking about microtransactions, I literally yesterday, me and my partner had to have a conversation with Mikey. Now, bear in mind, Mikey's 7, and he's already trying to get into microtransactions, so I had to sit him down, and I just said, you just can't be spending extra money on a game you've already paid for. And it was really hard, because it's like, how do you explain to a 7-year-old that if you start spending microtransactions, you won't stop? Because it can be quite addictive, and it was very difficult. But I think in the end he sort of understood, like, oh, it's actually to keep me safe, that's why you're telling me no. So I think in the end he kind of got it. But that's definitely like one of the things that kind of struck a chord with me. It was like, it's much scarier raising kids now because of all the electronical devices and social media, and like, I feel like my parents were lucky because there wasn't a thing like microtransactions on Facebook and stuff like that didn't exist when we were kids. So honestly, I feel like being a parent now is 10 times scarier thanks to technology, but at the same time it's also really good because you can teach them stuff by using, the internet and stuff like that.
I think it's one of those things where kids are too young to realize like what's bad about this and what are the risks, and they'd see like, I can connect with my friends, this is great, I can do my homework a lot quicker, this is great, why do I feel worse about myself, why am I bad with keeping my pocket money.
Yeah, this is kind of why I refuse to let him have microtransactions, and he's not going anywhere near social media till he's like 11 at least, because I'm just like, no.
I don't know, like when it comes to kids and social media, I'm one of those people where I'm like, you can do whatever you want with social media after 16, because that's when I got onto social media as well, Facebook and stuff like that. So
Better.
The scary thing is like the fact that so many people are on social media that it's almost not necessarily a necessity, but I for years have wanted to come off social media, but because it's so important for my career that I'm in, and it's so important for even like now during a time where we're so cut off from everybody, it's so important to be able to stay connected and reach out to people and chat with people, but then also it's probably done my mental health pretty bad recently as well, because I'm sat at home stuck indoors looking at other friends who are in maybe less restrictive areas or are learning Mandarin and going climbing and going for long walks in the countryside.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those things where it's like you feel like you have to be doing something while you're in quarantine, and it's like it's a stressful time. So I mean, if you're just getting through the day by binging Netflix, then go you got through another day.
You
'cause
made
this
it
is
through the
stressful
day.
for everybody. Yeah, like I keep seeing quite a lot of funny introvert memes, like this is kind of we live time kind of thing, and it's like yeah, but it's still stressful even if you are used to it.
yeah, I get what you guys mean with regards to all of that as well, because like I like maybe it's good English, fucking hell. Maybe it's because I grew up in Sri Lanka where a lot of the access to the social media sites, like you gotta be in like specific areas and whatnot to actually get an internet connection in the first place, and even then, having one is a luxury. So, like having not grown up with it, I did not understand how people can attribute so much to a like or a dislike and stuff like that until like this film kind of put it into words and had multiple perspectives say, okay, here's A, B, C, D, E, F, G reason why this is a bad thing. And I'm like, okay, I understand it. I can't relate to it, but at least I understand it now. So that's something that this film does really well as well. It really does a good job of articulating things that is going on in social media and putting it into context that is understandable without going overboard and saying, right, technical, you are confused, I'm confused, we're all confused, let's go home.
I think one of my favorite things about this documentary is it's like a handful of people from the tech industry who have gone, oh my god, what have I created? I need to, okay, let me take a step back. This is not what I intended. How can I maybe rectify this and let me reveal to you what's actually happening here?
Yeah, and that's something I really liked as well, because it wasn't just the, oh, internet bad. It was, no, there was, I hate to say it, but there was nuance, which is great to see.
Yeah. Like I liked the bit at the end where they were like, they were kind of like, they're not saying completely just stop using it. They were just saying sort of maybe think about how you're using it and how long you're using it for, kind of a thing.
It's also one of those things like it reminded me a lot of when you watch a documentary or like a film about sexual assault, and you sort of think like, okay, does this mean that I have to stop walking the street late at night? Well, yes, but also the bigger problem is we need to stop rapists. And it's like, yes, I probably should use social media a lot less, but the bigger problem is how these companies are using our data or how they're manipulating our psychology, how they're sharing disinformation.
Yeah. When they were talking about the information segment within the film, I was thinking, do you know what? Tyler Durden, the fucker, finally got his plan to work.
Yeah. There was one bit I liked where they were kind of like, I Ah, no, it's gone. I had
It's
a
all
thought
right.
and it went bye-bye. I'm sure it'll come back later.
Yeah, it'll be fine. They like to do that occasionally, so they'll be back after a beer or something.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say something. Oh, he went for a beer as well.
I tell you what, while there's a lull, one thing that I immediately wanted to do and immediately was like, oh, I wonder what their answers are, is how many hours a day do you use your phone?
Oh, I actually
Oh,
don't know. But
okay,
it's probably not very
so
much.
are we talking phone in general, or are we talking social media? And if so, what kind of social media sites?
Um, well, I guess so on your phones it does tell you how often, like how many hours you use it, but then it
I'm on
will also
Android.
break
Does
it.
it tell you on Android?
I don't know if it tells you on Android, but I'm gonna have a look because my phone
I'm
is
pretty,
also
I think it
Android.
does.
Would it be in the settings? I wonder.
Yeah, it's in settings. But so like how long you'll use your phone for, but then I don't think I use my phone at the moment for much apart from social media at the moment and maybe like emails because I'm not going out and about, I'm not taking pictures. I'm for the most part when I call people, I'm just like calling them over Facebook because I'm sat at home and I want to call them and see their face. Um, and so I'm not really texting people as well because it's not like people are out and about and don't have access to Wi-Fi anymore either, or data, and so I am just using it for social media and online shopping. And I think as well, what was interesting is someone was saying to me the other day that what's scary is that not even like the generation below us, but even just people who are a little bit younger than us have only grown up sort of as their phones being their main piece of technical hardware. Like my partner's brother, who I think is, I want to say he's like 19, he doesn't know how to use Microsoft Word because he was never taught that at school, because he didn't need to be taught that at school, because they just had like, I think they had tablets that they would sort of just type on Google Docs on.
Okay.
Like they access sort of their life through their phones and they don't sit there at a computer using PowerPoint or and so it'll be interesting to see how people in the future, how businesses will work, because everything will be on the cloud, and then what does that mean for data protection?
Yeah, that's a really interesting thought as well, because that is essentially what is happening at the moment already because of the COVID stuff going on. We have to kind of do it online. So, with that being taken into consideration, like storage becomes a really interesting thing to tackle. Workflow is going to be really interesting to tackle. I say interesting in the sense of, oh, a challenge to overcome, but that also increases so much of the risks when it comes to, oh, what if something gets corrupted during the transfer? What if this happens? There are so many different ways things can go wrong, and so it just has many benefits as well. So next couple of years are going to be really interesting in terms of that. Well, I'm assuming next couple of years because I don't think this thing is going to end anytime soon.
Yeah.
But
And I think as well, on top of that, with increased use online and increased the number of people who are now on social media platforms, advertising has gone up as well. The amount of ads that are being sort of sold and produced and released, because if more people are online, that's how you get their attention. That's where they're going to be. They're not going to be sat at the bus stop. And so now we're getting into this, because as well, I think what's interesting is ads themselves, they aren't intrusive, but what is intrusive is when you've got 100 different ads when you're trying to just even just like watch something on YouTube, that I'm now watching like a 5-minute video on YouTube, but I've got about 6 ads in between.
yeah, totally get what you mean there. And it's because of how much the apps are interconnected. Except for Facebook, for some reason, I could check for audio stuff and every other app will give me audio, but Facebook will give me dildos. I don't get that. But it's like Facebook doing its own thing, fair enough. But Yeah, that
Well,
in
that
itself.
tends to be your privacy settings, like, because you can then say, oh, I choose not to have personalized ads. But then what's scary and weird is that even at that point, if you ask for don't personalize these ads, they're still collecting your data. They're
Yeah.
still going to collect. They're not going to stop collecting your data.
Yes. Not exactly.
But then you're into the big question in my head is like, because a lot of people have a fear of like, oh my god, they're collecting my data. What do they know about me? But then also like they're collecting my data. They know what I'm searching, and as like a normal person, the stuff I'm searching is cat food or running leggings. Like I don't really care about them knowing these things, but then it's almost like
Oh, could you imagine
I'm
if
being sold as a product that I've not really like I'm getting nothing out of it.
Yeah. Like it's quite annoying how you like literally if you buy something, it then like you're constantly getting ads for the same thing. Like I bought a dress like 2 years ago. I'm still getting ads from the place where I bought the dress.
could you imagine like if you were a YouTuber that talks about true crimes and murder
Oh my
mysteries? Their search histories must be fascinating to look at.
Yeah. Well, I had to look up gender violence quite a lot for my final project that I'm planning on doing for my masters because it's looking at the final girl troop. So it's like there's a lot of violence involved in my search history now, and I'm like, oh dear.
I've been to some very seedy places in Reddit over the years, so I just know if they arrest me based on my search history, I'll be like, yeah, fair.
That's valid. Oh dear.
But yeah, to go to
Okay, so
your.
if you go to
Oh, sorry.
if you go to digital well-being on your settings, it'll tell you how many hours you spend.
On Android.
Yeah.
Uptime. I just typed in uptime on the in the search bar in my settings, and it said 114. So I think that might be how many hours, possibly, or how many minutes. I don't know. It didn't specify. It just said 114 under uptime. So I don't know. And then I googled that, and it gave me car ads. So I was like, okay, that's fine.
So my average daily use is 2 hours and 37 minutes. 39 minutes on Instagram, 29 minutes on YouTube, and 21 minutes on Reddit.
No results found. Oh,
What did you say?
Samsung.
Daily? Was it just
Digital
daily, like,
well-being.
digital well-being? Okay, I'll try that. I have a Motorola, so I have no idea if this will work.
I'm on a
But we shall
Samsung.
Yeah, I used to have Samsungs as well. Yeah, no, it's not coming up, but that's kind of stupid. Damn it, Android! I want to know how addicted I am to my phone. You can't even tell me that. Call yourself a smartphone? I don't know.
I unlock my phone about 55 times a day.
See,
Oh my God.
I'm mostly check Facebook and I mostly check my Google news feed quite a lot. But I tend to lose my phone quite a lot in the house. Like I'll put it down and then I just won't touch it for like a good couple of hours. So it's not as much as I think it is, I guess.
I have no idea the approximate because I don't know how to look it up on Samsung S8.
Is it S8? I've got a Samsung S9 and it's just under digital well-being. It's told me. Weird that.
Yeah. I mean, it might have it on my S10, but I use my S8 for like communication stuff, and my S10 is pure media stuff, so I don't know, maybe the older model just does not have it or something like that.
It doesn't want you to know.
It doesn't want me to know.
But it's like, no, you keep being addicted. We won't tell you how long you use it for.
I think I did see a thing where at least apps tried to hide this information, or certain apps have tried to hide from users that they can go looking for it.
I do know that I have spent over 1,000 hours on YouTube over the past year, and a lot of that is based on video essays and critiques and stuff like that. So most of it is educational, but a lot of it is just, this is cute. Hello.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
See, it's weird. I get mixed recommendations because obviously I let my key use my account sometimes to watch cat videos. So I've got a ton of cat videos and then a bunch of like video essays that I want to watch.
Oh, I had
And
to
I'm like, that's
download
a
an
nice
app
mix.
to do that with.
Do you?
What to check how long you used it? You had to download an app to check how long you use your phone.
I'm
Oh my word.
assuming.
Uh,
Um,
Mine said to check data usage, but I'm like, that's data usage. That doesn't tell me how long I've been on the actual phone for.
okay, so I've been on
So
Messenger
we're
for
having
4 minutes
fun.
today. I've been on Facebook for 2 minutes today, and I've been on Instagram for a minute today.
Okay, pretty good.
But YouTube, 6 hours and 8 minutes, and I was watching a 10-hour podcast. So make of that what you will.
Wow.
See, sometimes my YouTube will just play while I'm asleep, so I'm not watching it, but it thinks I am.
Is that because you like put it on in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah, same here, to be honest.
Most of the time, if it's like a stream, because I like watching, like if I haven't got a video game, I'll watch people stream it so I can like see if I actually would play it if I bought it. So
Do you think you use your phone more than like your laptop or computer?
No, I use
no,
my
I think I
laptop or
use my
computer more, definitely.
Yeah.
Because that's where a
Yeah.
lot of my work is. But for the whole week, this week, I've used Facebook for 1 hour and 24, Messenger 55 minutes, Instagram 39 minutes, and Twitter 22 minutes.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I will figure if I eventually at the end of this podcast I might figure out how long I've used my phone for.
So, Amy,
I think-
there's an app called Action Dash on the
Okay.
Play Store. That's what I just
Cool.
used.
I will just use that as well then.
Sweet. So, what were you saying,
Yep.
Elissa?
Found it.
So with Amy, with your son using YouTube, he sort of does he use it unsupervised? Because I imagine like you just go, here you go, have YouTube for kids and have fun.
I actually try not to let him watch it unless there's somebody around to check. And actually,
Yeah.
because it's my account, I can check on my phone what video he's watching at what time.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Hardcore
So, because
porn.
I really don't want to, like, I don't like the idea of just leaving him to YouTube. Like, I have
Yeah.
done on occasion, and as soon as I'm checking, like, what's he been watching, who's he been watching, and I'll ask him what's he watching. So, like, there's always someone downstairs with him while he's watching YouTube or anything like that.
Have you heard about Elsa Gate?
I haven't. Is
So,
it one of those things where it's like a video, but it's got like a scary thing in it hidden? there?
Is that like
kind-
Gamergate, but with social media?
Well, what's happened is, so I think YouTube for Kids have a very poor algorithm in which I imagine what they were looking for is whether or not this video has ticked that box. Because you know when you upload a video,
Yeah.
they ask you like,
Yeah.
is this made for kids? They look for that, and then they probably look at the title, and then it just goes into YouTube for Kids. Because there are lots of titles which say Elsa and Anna have fun with Spider-Man or something. And the video is of like, there are these people that dress up as Elsa and Anna, and they just do weird sexual, violent activities.
Not safe for work stuff.
Yeah, and it's just on the suggested for kids.
Yeah. See, Mikey doesn't use YouTube for kids. I let him use actual YouTube, but I let him use it as long as he's supervised. Like, if there's no one
Yeah.
around, then I will say, no, you can't go on YouTube without someone checking what you're watching.
I remember really vividly the first time, like, my brother showed me YouTube, and it was for one of those videos where, you know, when somebody like flicks a ball and then that hits a teapot and the teapot falls over and hits some dominoes, and then those dominoes make a balloon go off, and that balloon
Oh,
makes
yeah.
the fan. And it was one of those, and I was like, this is the coolest video I've ever seen. I want to be able to watch as many of these as possible. And I remember asking Hamish, my brother, where's this site? Can I find it? Can you tell me how I can find these videos? And he like looked at my mum as if to be like, is this okay? And my mum had this face, this very stern face that was like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with this yet. Is this okay? Because at this point, I think I had like my own room and like my own shitty little laptop that was able to just like do whatever in my room. And but again, I was so innocent until I was like 18. I remember in like I want to say in like a year 11 science class, I put during sex ed, I put my hand up to ask Miss, what's uterus?
Yeah.
So I was completely innocent, but I remember hearing on do you remember RuTube?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I remember that thing.
And it was again for the most part just like stupid things like farts or
Yeah.
people falling over. Like there was never actually anything graphic or necessarily not safe for work.
I remember there was this thing going around where like someone would jump out and scare someone and then slap them in the face, and I think
I
it was called
remember
happy
that.
slapping. Yeah, that I remember that going around my school a lot.
But there was a video of I think Sarah Silverman. She just like did a comedy song, and the whole song is "I'm fucking Matt Damon on the bed, on the floor, on the towel by the door," and it's the most stupid thing ever. But it is just this ridiculous song, and I remember loving it. And I'd YouTube it, and I'd watch just the video, and it is just the of them like playing guitar, taking the piss. And I remember my mum walking into my room one day. I got so nervous, and I immediately shut my laptop, and she was like, "Elissa, what were you watching?" I go, "Nothing." She goes, "Let me see." And I slowly open it up, and all she sees is the title, "I'm fucking Matt Damon." And I have never experienced anything of that wrath before or again.
Yeah.
That's like a common occurrence if you're watching anime. They always come in when they've got tits out. I just don't know what it is. Every time. It's like magic. Never comes in during the great character development. Always when it's sexual.
Oh, do you know what? Like I'll be watching something. Like I've been watching a show called How to Get Away with Murder, and there's quite a bit of sex in it. And every time Ryan looks at what I'm watching, it's always on a sex scene where someone's moaning like ridiculously. And he's like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "I swear I'm not watching porn. This is a show."
My question would be, why are you watching it without me?
Sure.
Yeah, oh, like, when was this Domino's thing, like, in terms of year in which you experienced it, Elissa?
What, sorry?
The Domino video on YouTube, like, around how many years ago was this?
Like, I want to say before I was at least 10.
Oh, okay. Oof, I was already nearly 14, 15 when I was on YouTube for the first time back in the day. And I just remember,
I was about 12.
And I remember at the time what we were watching were like fucking machinima videos of just people doing hacks and mods of like Half-Life 2 and just making really inappropriate Mario songs and attaching them to it. It's just YouTube used to be wild in the noughties.
Yeah. I remember there was a guy who made like animations, and one of the songs it's a song that basically just goes badges, 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 and it's just like animated badges just running across the screen.
God, remember Salad Fingers back in the day?
Yeah.
Oh, and then Happy Tree Friends.
Happy Tree Friends. Oh. I think what's interesting
Harry
is
Potter
that
Puppet Pals.
Oh god.
Oh my god,
that
yeah.
was huge though. Everybody loved that.
Yeah, I remember when that first came out as well. Jeez.
I don't think anybody was concerned with the violent aspect of that because I mean they were just fucking puppets.
Yeah.
I mean they weren't fucking with puppets.
It's a pipe bomb! Yay! What?
But I think what's interesting is something they mentioned in the documentary is that TV have always had regulations around what people are allowed to advertise to kids or what people are allowed to show kids. But with YouTube, there's no regulations around that. And a lot of kids are unsupervised going through the internet. And it's sort of like they will be able to see anything, can find anything. And again, you sort of think, okay, kids, do they have to be sort of helicoptered over and protected, and surely they should be able to discover what they think about the world for themselves. But then
Oh yeah,
how easy it is to get caught down horrible rabbit holes. And
Oh,
like you said, like
yeah.
microtransactions, if people are just advertising to kids, you know, buy this thing for £2, it's so cheap and it's fun and it'll make your Fortnite more
Yeah.
fun to play.
I mean, like with Mikey, he's really addicted to a game called Rocket League. So it's like football with cars, basically.
Yay.
And you can get game packs and you can join tournaments and stuff. But there are some where he's like, you have to pay to do it, and I'm just like, no. And then he's getting upset, and he's like, but then I can't play this bit of the game. And then it develops into, you hate me and you don't want me to have this game. And that's the argument. And I'm like, that's fine. You can hate me all you want, but I am not letting you spend money, like actual real money, on a game pack
Yeah.
for a game that you've already bought. And it sucks because obviously he can't understand that it's just to protect him, but it sucks because I'm pretty sure companies know that the kids are going to get angry at the parents, and some parents are going to cave.
Literally, like, there's a video on YouTube from like 2016, 2017, something like that, and it's literally a press conference by a guy called Torolf Jonstrom, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and it's basically like, right, game companies, here's how you go whaling and how you can reel them in and get as much money out of them. And it's like, holy shit, this is just literally out there for everyone to see, and game companies are just doing exactly what this guy says. And there's a lot of connections between the sounds people use, the imagery people use in microtransactions and gaming, loot boxes even, that's very much present in social media, because like I think we were speaking about it earlier on with regards to, oh, when I see a message I get really excited, but then let's figure out why. And it's like, okay, you see, I'm using Android, so when you see that green light, when you hear the ping, like it's all used to trigger chemical reactions in your brain that makes you feel good. And if it makes you feel good, you're drawn to it, and if you're drawn to it, you're using it, and if you're using it, you are, well, on the reel, so to speak. So it's really interesting how
using it, you can be sold.
and it's really interesting how a lot of the same concepts are being used in both industries, and both of them for profit, one intentionally and one out of negligence.
I think this as well, what shocked me was that I mean, I didn't even realize that there are university courses based on how people can use human psychology to manipulate users to engage into, as I think the phrase they used was growth hacking. Using psychology to use subliminal cues to affect emotions and thoughts, which then get people to sort of to keep coming back and to invite friends and to stay online so that they can see more adverts, so that they can sell more adverts.
Yeah. I found out how long I use my phone for, by the way. It's given me a rundown. So apparently the thing I used the most today was Chrome, and I used it for 1 hour and 30 minutes, apparently.
I mean,
but that might be because I've left it open and not closed it. I've closed it, so it's just sitting there open on my phone. I've used YouTube for 2 minutes. I've logged 23 minutes, and I've used Messenger for 3 minutes today.
Not too bad. What's your daily usage like?
Daily usage seems to be 3 hours and 33 minutes. Ooh, that's a lot. But like I say, I think it's a case of I leave things open on my phone and forget about them. So, it's 3 hours of stuff is running, but not necessarily 3 hours of me looking at it.
Yeah.
So I think I need to learn to turn stuff off.
That also brings up the question of what constitutes as social media, because if we're considering YouTube and we're watching videos, like, okay, if like we use it for different purposes, like I use a lot of it for film related stuff, someone else could use it for cat related stuff. So how do we categorize YouTube? Is it social media, or does it even count as social media? But then again, it does use advertising, so technically it uses social media tactics without it actually being very communicative in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But you
Also,
can leave comments.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna say you get like a lot of people pressing for you to subscribe to them and comment on their videos. So I feel like
exactly.
that's the social media aspect of it.
I
I
do
think
know
it's
that
it's a weird blend of two things, like watching things and also being able to interact with the thing you're watching, kind of.
YouTube's basically my TV at this point.
Mm.
um,
I do know that the Royal Society of Health they categorize it as social media. But
okay.
interestingly, they did a I want to say in 2017, but I could be very wrong. Let me fact check that.
We love fact checking
2000,
here.
2017. It was they did a survey. I think they asked between I want to say 14 to 24-year-olds. And YouTube was the only one that came up as like a positive platform.
Oof, well, to be in
Or
2017, I
not
guess.
necessarily like not necessarily that the others aren't positive, but they it was the most positive
I'm
Yeah.
that
positive
they
in
sort
what
of said.
regard would be my question.
Yeah.
They sort of it was into in relation with mental health
Oh,
and sort of how it makes people feel and how people rate it themselves. Because like I can very confidently say like Instagram, I don't think Instagram's done me any good. Like I don't think I've gained anything from Instagram. I know that for businesses it's a really useful tool, but for me as just a person, I post the pictures that make me feel pretty and I hope that people give me validation, and then I see other people looking pretty and then I feel bad about myself being I'm not as pretty as them. I'm not having as good a time as them. Um
I'm one of those weird bastards that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna post anything about myself, but hey, here's this film that I've worked with loads of other people. you know, like I guess it is a matter of what you use the social media for, because, like I just said, Instagram, like I barely post on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. It's all related to here's something we worked on. Hope you enjoy it. And there's really nothing, if anything, that's related to my personal life out there. So on those platforms, I mean. So I suppose it depends on what each person uses it for more than anything
yeah.
else.
I
Um,
think I think when you use it as a personal thing, it does have a negative impact, especially if it's like you're going through Facebook or Instagram and you see all these like really cool makeup tutorials and people look amazing and then you do the makeup tutorial and it's like, I don't look like that. Why don't I look like that? It didn't work.
hmm.
Here we go. There's a breakdown here of how YouTube affects people's mental health. So it said that it um, sleep deprivation, it's increased people's sleep deprivation, but it's increased people's health awareness, access to health information, emotional support, loneliness, self-expression, self-identity, community building.
Yeah.
And then people have said that there's a little bit of bullying on there. There's a little bit of FOMO, and a little bit of body image, but for the most part, it's pretty positive. And then when you go down to Instagram, let me have a look. People have said that it raises awareness. There's a little bit of emotional support. There's a lot of self-expression, a lot of self-identity,
Mhm.
and a lot of community building.
Oh
However,
yeah.
there's an increase in people's anxiety, depression, loneliness, sleep, body image. There's like a huge uh, bar. Yeah, I'll call it a bar. There's a huge bar that bullying, FOMO is huge on here.
Yeah. There's a YouTuber called, I don't know if you've heard of her, Eugenia Cooney, and she very clearly has a lot of mental health problems. She hasn't admitted it, but she does seem to have an eating disorder, and her fan base is like 14 plus. So there's 14-year-olds seeing this person who clearly has mental health issues and clearly needs help, and they're seeing that, and she's basically ignoring anyone who says, are you okay? I'm concerned about you. She's going, I'm fine, and she's literally, I don't know how to explain it. She she just looks like a skeleton a little bit, and like if she's happy with how she looks, that's fine, but to tell people that this is fine and a healthy way to look, like 14-year-olds might see that and go, I want to be that skinny, and it's an unhealthy amount of skinny like that.
Mm.
Like she's even come out and said like she's had multiple health problems because of it.
Wow.
And I think there's like a lot of people that are saying she should, if she, if she wants to continue being on YouTube, she should at least make sure that she's in a good frame of mind and healthy, because she's basically putting out there that it's okay to,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think with
be like the tiniest weight possible, and it's just gonna be like negative impact on people who aren't that weight,
I think when you've got a platform like YouTube, I don't think you necessarily have to be sort of healthy and presentable, but I think as long as you're able to say to your viewers and followers, this isn't healthy, you shouldn't aspire to this. As long as you are
like
at least sort of leading people down a sort of good path, I guess.
See, if she was just like, I'm happy with the way I look, and everybody's different, that would be fine. But it feels like really not good to just be like, no, I'm fine, this is what healthy looks like, because that's not a good message to put out to other people who might try and lose all that weight to try and look like that.
That brings up the issue of if it is a case of mental illness or a health disorder or whatever, then it can't change before the person is willing to admit that. And that is something that is going to take. I mean, who wants to admit that they're flawed, especially when they're talking to a group of people, especially when you have a following. So there's that added pressure of making sure that you say you're okay to a group of people. It's like when you hang out socially, like if you're not feeling great, you don't exactly say, oh yeah, I'm not feeling great in front of your friends. You're going to say, yeah, I'm doing all right. And then if you do have a good friend, you'll talk to them about it. So there's that added pressure, considering the fact that, oh, it's an audience. Oh my God, people listen to me. So you want to come across as normal to them. And that could just be a vicious circle. So, like there's... Oh, go on.
I was just, yeah, I get it. Like, I don't think, because a lot of people are like, oh, she shouldn't be on YouTube. I don't think she shouldn't be on YouTube, but I don't think she should be putting out there that it's perfectly fine to just lose all this weight and have all these health problems, and that, like, you shouldn't deal with it or even admit that it's a problem. Like, I feel like that's not a good message to be putting out there. So I get what they're saying. Like, maybe she should come off YouTube and come back when she has a positive message to share, because at the moment it just seems like the message is literally, I have a problem that I'm ignoring, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's really going to be dependent on the person, because there have been a couple of YouTubers who've been really affected by mental health, and taking time off is what made them better. And some have stayed off, some have come back. So it really does depend on the person to take the initiative rather than being told to take the initiative. That's a big issue, because
it's really...
if last point, and I swear I'll stop, but like if it's very social, because like if someone would say, oh, don't do this, you're more likely to do it, and if someone says do it, you're more likely to not do it. So it's that thing as well. So like, people are strange, that's what I'm saying. So but yeah, what were you guys gonna say?
I feel like she's being, it does, like, for her, she probably does feel like this is me being attacked and being told how to behave. So I think people who are trying to basically say to her, you're not well, I think I get what they're doing, but it's like, you are misguided, and that's not going to help. If anything, that's just going to push her to be like, no, I refuse to accept your narrative that you're giving me. So I don't know what the solution is. I just know that I think, unfortunately, she's doing harm to her community and herself at the moment.
It's really tough when you are in the public eye like that, and even if it is just because again, people don't necessarily see YouTubers as famous people or people who are constantly in the limelight, but they've still got this following, and this following is dependent on them earning money. And if they do something or say something that loses those followers, then they are earning less money. And then that's when you get to the point of like, how much of myself do I need to almost sacrifice to be able to continue to support myself? I think there's a YouTuber who I love. Donkey, and he just usually he releases a video every now and he spends about less than 10 minutes. Each video is less than 10 minutes, and it's him just playing a game until he breaks it, and he's just sort of taking the piss out of it, and it's funny and stupid. But he's got to a point where he's like, I'm not making any money out of this, and people who are releasing like 2-second videos of pure crap are earning more money than me.
Yeah.
And I can't support this platform anymore. I can't support this business model anymore. And so he decided to he made a video a day, and I think he had like Minecraft Tuesdays where he just did 2 minutes of him running around in Minecraft doing nothing.
Yeah.
And he had Fortnite Fridays, and it was just, again, there was nothing, there was no content in there, but each of the titles were clickbait, and he was getting more viewers, more traction, and YouTube messaged him being like, you're doing a great job, keep doing what you're doing. He had like an increase in subscribers, increase in viewers, earning more money through more.
And I was just gonna say, I've seen a couple of his videos. Please send me one that you like, because the videos I have seen are garbage. So please send me one that is good. Because
I
love Donkey, to be fair, but I love that he just takes the piss and a bit ridiculous, and like you need a certain sense of humor. But it's a shame that I don't know, it's back to that question of like, YouTube just used to be a place where you could express yourself and have fun and be goofy or share things or educate, but now it's become this platform of people, like it's become people's careers and how people I mean, it's so interesting when I've watched about 5 different videos of people talking about why I left BuzzFeed and why I started my own account, and how it is one of the girls who was talking about how like she'd reached the end of her tether, like she was on the verge of a mental breakdown, but she could not leave BuzzFeed because she had like less than $2,000 in her account, and she couldn't leave, and she couldn't start her own business, and she couldn't even go find another job because she didn't know if she'd be able to, and so she just had to stay with BuzzFeed, and she had to keep going, and she didn't have time to apply for other jobs because she had to commit every single waking hour to producing these videos and creating new ideas. And then I think it was her therapist was saying, like, you have to take 2 months off or you will have a psychotic break.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, when you come to stuff like BuzzFeed, WatchMojo, and like the other sites which has like a video every single day that's 10 minutes scripted, edited, it's like you're gonna burn out someone. You know, that's the big issue, and that's why like we're in a position where we're able to treat it as a hobby, where once a week we'll get together and talk, but as soon as money's involved,
like, we're not getting paid for this.
Exactly. And it's just a matter of when money gets involved, that complicates so many different things, and it starts to become a job over time. And when that becomes your job, then it's not just this cool hobby you had, then it becomes I gotta pay rent next week. And that puts a completely different mindset on you.
It's like, what can we do to make more money?
And then it's just a matter of...
I feel like...
Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, I feel like if we started making money, it'd be a case of we have to script this and we can't go off on tangents anymore. And
fuck that, we're gonna stay true to ourselves.
Tangents. Okay, exactly. How the tangents, it would just be... Well, I don't think it'd be us. Because that's kind of what we do. We go off on tangents when we have conversations.
Yeah, like if you subscribe to us and you're watching what we watch, you're watching it for us just having a casual conversation, not for scripted stuff. You've got the rest of my channel for the scripted stuff, so like fuck that. Like, we're gonna stay true to what we are, you know. And that's another question as well, just if you are going to be making money on this platform, then just how much are you going to be shelling out, you know? Like, are you going to be playing to the algorithm? Are you going to be getting a sponsor from Raid, Shadow Legends, or from Manscaped, you know? Played Raid, by the way. It's a shit game.
Going back to what you were saying about the YouTuber that you were talking about and how like she needs to take responsibility because she has a platform, but then also like YouTube need to take responsibility. They need to be...
They're letting her.
They need to be moderating these videos to make sure that their platform is being used safely. And there needs to be, and again, this is where again the government needs to come into, because the government again is just letting people be manipulated, and it's very predatory, and there's nothing really being done about it yet. And I think that's what's interesting about this documentary, is the fact that they're starting to break down that wall. They're starting to show transparency.
Yeah.
And they're starting to be like, this is actually what's happening. And this is the, like, governments, they don't know what they're doing. I mean, when I was shocked to find out that with net neutrality. So do you guys know about net neutrality?
Yeah, I'm not fully
basically what happened was
articulated on it, but I do know of it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm a novice.
I'll probably butcher this explanation, but more or less what happened is a couple of like the top tech people, I think it was like Facebook, possible, I can't really remember, but they got together and they said, let's create a service that means that people have to pay to be able to specifically search for something. The free service will just offer recommendations, but if they want to search for something, they have to pay, and then they have to pay more to be able to access blacklisted sites. And obviously, like, so that's ridiculous. But then what they were doing, because they're the richest people in the world, they're paying these congressmen, these politicians, thousands, sometimes millions of dollars, and these people are then going, yeah, sure, yeah, I'll allow this through. I'll say yes to this. And I think that's what's scary, is that we don't have a sort of an ethical council who is caring about how it affects our society, because it's all about quick profit.
Yeah, I was really like, you know, when, because I think there was a part where they were talking about this is going to cause a civil war, and I'm like, just look what happened on Capitol Hill like a few weeks ago. I was like, that's scary. And I agree with them, because they're like, literally, if you have a specific political opinion, you are going to search out people with the same political opinion, and you aren't really going to get any nuance, because you're just following the same people that have the same opinions as you, and you're going to get news articles based on your opinions. So, like, for instance, Trump supporters, they probably are in like a little echo chamber of just Trump support and nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think again,
so, like, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it pretty much goes both ways, because the more there must be a delay somewhere. Elissa?
Yes?
Okay, so it's not too ooh.
You okay?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh no. Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
I think maybe you're...
Oh, internet is going, well, less than fashionably.
Oh no.
Yeah, first time in a month, so I'll take it. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I was just gonna...
well, we were talking about the... Yeah, sorry, I'm not breaking up, I'm literally just stopping so you can talk.
Oh, okay. That was just really... Oh no,
sorry.
not again. Yeah, I was just gonna say that with regards to the echo chambers, yeah, it's gonna happen with the right, it's gonna happen with the left, and because there is such a strong algorithm that is going to be guiding you towards one or the other, the algorithm needs to improve, or the people who are overseeing it needs to be better educated, or there needs to be more manpower. But then it comes to an issue of just how much manpower is going to be enough in order to curate everything. And this third thing is, it really has to be on the onus of the people. They have to be willing to go to different perspectives. Like, for me, I'll listen to something right, left, make a conclusion for myself, and then wherever that lands, hey, hopefully people will get behind me. If not, well, tough.
Yeah.
I think because it's difficult with that, because at the moment, in response to what you're saying, at the moment it's not supervised by people. It is just they create the algorithm.
Exactly,
and the issue is that the algorithm will get better. I mean, that this tech and this AI is only going to get better, but it's only going to get better at predicting us. It's only going to get better at knowing what is going to keep us engaged, what's going to keep us hooked onto our phones and reading the same things.
Yeah.
And what's going to keep us from reading the same things is the stuff that we are already reading. And that's where these echo chambers are formed, because I think without this, just like they were saying about the don't click on YouTube recommended, because that's how people get stuck in the wormholes, and that's how
Yeah.
people believe in flat Earth.
Yeah.
And I think we need a platform in which we can, as you say, like, yes, these people do need to be able to think for themselves and say, okay, I've looked at this left-wing thing, maybe I need to look at this right-wing thing now. But
Yeah.
that's where
That's
the
then
issue is
how you could be swayed and end up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
it's
think
it's very much a mixture of a lot of different issues. The algorithm is, it's exactly what it is. It is an algorithm. It's based on, maximize, maximize, maximize. And because there is
Yeah.
no human element, much like in YouTube, I could get a copyright strike on a 10-second clip that I have on my video. I say that YouTube is
Yeah.
going to ban my video on, which is completely unrelated, by the way.
I feel like it's far too easy for people to get other videos taken down. Like, I've seen it, like, because there's a few commentary channels that I watch, and they just comment on other, like, YouTubers and stuff. And basically, like, if one person tries to critique another one, they'll just copyright strike it and be like, they're using it wrong, and it's like, but it comes under fair use, and literally then you have like, YouTube will just take the video down if they go,
exactly,
it's,
and then
it's copyright, and then
the
YouTube
person
will
who
just
gets
go, fine.
the person who gets copyright has to wait months and months and months to get that strike off of them, because there is no human element with regards to the copyright system in YouTube. It's all automated, and that is just not
Yeah.
helpful at all. And it's
Oh, no.
always, I'm guilty until I'm proven innocent, which is, thanks YouTube, fuck off.
Yeah.
Make a better
It's
film, then I
always
won't
the-
make these videos.
It's always like the smaller YouTubers get taken down by the bigger YouTubers that they're critiquing, and it's not even like they claim that they hate videos, but it's like they're just critiquing something you said. It's completely fair use to use an example of something you said and then be like, okay, well, here's why I think that's not okay. But they're like, nope, hate video, take it away.
I can't remember what the original point of that rant was, to be honest.
That one was talking about just the way that the YouTube algorithm worked, I think, was basically what we were talking about there.
I think as well, with sort of going back to a little bit when we were talking about like recommended videos and algorithms.
Yeah.
Like that's the fact that these algorithms are unsupervised and are just getting better and better, and our political environments are getting more and more polarized. And I think that's where we've now, like, yes, these people should be able to think for themselves and say, okay, I should read from a bunch of different sources. We've got to this point where we're so polarized that we don't want to talk to or hear about what's good about Trump. Or, like, I don't want to read an article about what Trump's done might be good, or because I think he's a fool, and I think a lot of what he says is complete poppycock. But why should I not educate myself and not widen my my own thoughts? Because that's exactly what Trump supporters are doing. They're looking at the left, saying everything they say is poppycock.
Yeah.
And we need to get back to allowing for conversation, allowing for like encouraging people to go against the flow rather than going with the flow.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to lead on to with my rant with regards to the YouTube thing and recommended. I just kind of went off track there. But it's very much got to do with the fact that people in general don't really like to hear that they're wrong or that it's no with regards to something that they say, regardless of the argumentation that is there against them. So there has to be a certain level of emotional and not psychological, but intellectual maturity that comes with having the balls to accept that you're wrong about something. And And until people get over that hurdle,
or at
it's
least
going to continue to be more polarized, unfortunately.
yeah, or at least like not even that you're wrong, maybe just that you maybe need to do more research on something. Because I remember a lot of arguments I've had with my dad are based on his blissful ignorance of not looking up what he's talking about, and I'm like, okay, like a lot of the time I'll say to him, I don't think we should be talking about this because honestly, you're picking facts and figures out of thin air, and that's not a good way to have a conversation about anything, is by just kind of trying to throw facts in there to try and get a point. It's like that's not a conversation. That's just you trying to be right, and I'm not trying to do that because I was like, I'm quite happy to listen to your point of view, but you're not letting me get my point of view across. And eventually my dad was like, actually, you're right. And then eventually we managed to talk it out. And like, we don't always agree on stuff, but at least now he's more aware. And he's like, if I don't know much about the thing, then I'll just say I don't know much about it and I don't want to talk about it. And that's one way we got around that.
And I think as well, like that almost comes from this idea of disinformation and how easy that is to travel. And what the documentary was saying, which I thought was really interesting, is the fact that fake news travels 6 times faster than actual news, real news, truth, because it triggers us and it makes us want to click that.
And that's probably why Trump supporters basically stay Trump supporters, because they keep clicking on the bait and feeding the trolls.
Yeah, it's very much a combination of various different issues. The algorithm, the platform itself, the echo chambers, and the people. It's one of those instances where there's no one issue. It's pretty much everything, really.
I like how they used like the Skynet kind of comparison. They're like, oh, people think that's what's going to happen. And they're like, but what you don't realize is it's kind of happening right now. You're being manipulated by you know, technology is manipulating you, but like mostly social media and stuff like that.
Yeah, like did you see
and I was like, that's a good point.
when they were talking about how in Myanmar that they're using Facebook as a tool for persuasion, the fact that they're getting people in these phone shops when they go to buy a new phone, the first thing they'll do is they'll download Facebook and give it to them. And then what was it? They started using Facebook as a tool for propaganda to be able to
like, that's all you
get people to start raping and murdering and stoning and attacking the Muslims in Myanmar, making, I think the figure they used was like 700,000 Muslims had to then flee their homes because of how people used Facebook, because there is no regulations around how it sort of can be used in politics and using our data and how it persuades us.
I mean, Facebook, there's tons of groups on there that are literally hate groups. Like there's the LGB Alliance, that they have a Facebook group that's not been taken down, that's not been challenged or anything like that, and that's literally a group of people who are basically like they just want to get rid of the T. They don't want the T to be included in LGBT. Yeah, and it's just like Facebook's just let that sit there. It's just there.
It's
and
very much.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go on.
I would count that as a hate. I would count that as a hate group because they're not even about LGBT rights either. They're just kind of using that to just basically hate on trans people, and it's kind of like that shouldn't be a group because it's clearly hatred towards a group of people.
So, after watching the documentary, what sort of regulations do you guys think need to be put in place to protect users?
That's a good question, because I'm not even sure how to go about it. But I feel like a lot of the problem is they are like, we can self-regulate, and that is just self-regulation. When has that ever worked? It didn't work when journalists tried to do it. So why do they think like the idea of self-regulation? It's like, I'm sorry, of course you're gonna think what you're doing is fine. You need an outside perspective to regulate you. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think my partner was saying he's come from a background of he did a law degree and a law master's, and he was saying that there needs to be a governing body, like an external global council, that are able to, let me try and remember the words that he used. He said that they should be able to, because technology is evolving at a state that's faster than almost we can keep track of. And so we need to be able to, when new and innovative tech is being produced and platforms and software, this council should be able to sit on this and moderate it and watch how it goes, and where it's manipulating people and where it's benefiting people, and start to see what regulations could be put in place, where we need to tax data, where we need to tax data collection, and how we sell data.
Yep.
And I think, because again, like going back to the net neutrality, how in America, they just sort of vote for their congressman, which already sets up for a bad democratic environment, whereas this external governing body could have this objective view, and hopefully be less inclined to take bribes.
See, that's the hope part, is like people very easily persuaded. There's very high chance for like going down.
My biggest issue
I think
with regards.
regulating about.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
My sentence. Sorry. No, sorry. I'm done now.
Oh, okay. I think the only thing that I was going to say was that ultimately it doesn't, like, as long as the human element is present in the distinguishing of good or bad within a system, there's always going to be human error, and as long as there's human error, there's always going to be faults within it. So we can come up with, in this stream, we can come up with the most perfect law in order to govern it, but as long as a person is behind it, it's always going to get abused in some way eventually, one way or another. I mean, we can hope not, but humans don't exactly have a great track record. And that's just a completely different conversation altogether, really.
No. I mean, we still should try.
Yeah, I'm not good. God, I was gone for a few minutes.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Me and Elissa were just there, like, yeah, we need to regulate everything, and you were just gone.
Okay. Oh. After so long, it just breaks down on me like this. How dare it?
That's just rude.
I know, right? It's almost as
How
if the
dare
computer doesn't have feelings.
I know. God.
Gonna keep it there. Hopefully it'll be fine. I need a USB extension cable. That's what I've deciphered from this conversation.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you learned something. That's the main thing, I guess.
I've known it for a while. I just haven't been able to find one, so I have to order one from Amazon. That's all.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but okay. Everything's green, which is wonderful. So, regulations. That's where we were, right?
Yeah. Also, that was really loud. And then, so with the regulations, there needs to be education. And what the Center of Humane Technology have started doing is they're hosting seminars, they're making documentaries like this, they're talking in, standing up in Congress and sort of sharing what their ideas of regulation should be. They're holding workshops for both tech employees, but also CEOs.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like transparency. They're like, Facebook should make it a lot more clear what they're doing and what data they're gathering. Like they know everything about us, but we know very little about them. Because I mean, you read their terms and conditions and you think, oh, do I want to sit through that? Because they know that you don't.
So they'll just not really explain it. And I mean, that's imbalance, because they know all about us. We don't know anything about them, and that's wrong. Like, in any situation, power imbalance is not great.
Especially like we're being sold as a product. Our data, our brain activity, our focus, what what we're watching, what we're doing, our habits, it's being sold.
Mhm.
And even at that point, like we should not even like yes, we get to use these services for free, but also like we're in the dark, we're not getting any sort of compensation. We're not aware of where it's going and who's using it, and the next thing we know, Russia is using our data to manipulate the American election, and you're like, how the fuck has that happened? And then when you watch those, have you seen those clips from in Capitol Hill with Mark Zuckerberg? And a lot of these politicians, they very clearly know nothing about Facebook or how it works, and they're looking at him like, so if I message my mum on WhatsApp,
Yeah, I remember that
we
bit.
don't own WhatsApp. If I message my mum on WhatsApp, does Facebook know that? No, we don't own WhatsApp. So what do you guys do on WhatsApp? We have nothing to do with WhatsApp.
That's funny. Oh dear. Yeah. I also like there was one bit where they were like, okay, so what can we do about this? And Mark Zuckerberg's like, well, we need an app for that.
Yeah, like if there's going
So
to
he was
be
suggesting to fix the problem, they created the app.
oh god, I'm not God again, am I?
Yeah, you said there's going to be, and then
And you
nothing.
left us on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, we were like, oh, there's going to be. Are there going to be cookies? What?
There's going to be a reckoning, I tells ya.
Well, that too.
But yeah, I was going to say that there's got to be a massive restructuring on all tiers, really. So first we got to establish what the rules are, and to do that we got to have like an ESRB or a United Nations of Tech, so to speak, to set out these are the rules. Here we go. We got to enforce these objectively to every single corporation. Next, we got to have the corporations follow the rules, then have a massive re-education on the objective, so to speak, rather, of these tech companies, where rather than solely profit, it's like, okay, let's actually think about, slightly think about the people who are using it, rather than none at all, and slowly work that through. And the third thing that needs to change is, and the education system, because we're not having anything being taught to children or in any level about technology in any capacity, because and even then you have to be on a specific course designed for technology, and that's considering that we have had this technology for about 20 years now and it's constantly evolving. We're still using a rudimentary understanding of it, whereas we need to evolve with it so that we're constantly educating the young so that they know what to look out for in the future. Like Mikey is lucky he has a parent like you and Ryan, because you guys know about microtransactions and stuff like that, but there are so many parents that don't know about stuff like this and are losing thousands of pounds, dollars, whatever. So there has to be a massive education push going on all levels.
I will say one thing. There's a really good thing that his school have been doing is, obviously because now they have to do learning online, there were a bunch of like lessons he had to do about being safe online, and I was like, that is really good, because I remember in school we didn't get taught anything about the internet. It was literally you figure it out yourself. And also my mum and dad were not very tech savvy, so obviously they didn't know it. So if the computer breaks or something now, literally they'll phone me or my brother and they'll be like, fix it. How do I fix it? And it's like, there's some times where I'm like, I don't know, because I don't know about computers. So I'll just be like, try Googling it. And they get annoyed at me because I suggest Google. And I'm like, literally, that is how I have taught myself most things in my life.
Yeah, and
to do with like electronics, because obviously they don't know about it, so they couldn't teach me. So I'm like, I'm telling you the way I figure things out.
And that's just something we can't have kids do anymore today, because the internet is
Exactly.
not, well, I don't want to say this, but not as kind anymore, because so many people have figured out how to utilize it in a way that is profitable and regardless of the consequences, and there's no regulations. Whereas when, like, I was like 15, 16, learning to use the internet, I was like, ooh, let's go here, see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
Let's type things in and see what happens, and you get all sorts. But like, obviously, so at least I think education is very slowly getting there, but I feel like it needs to hurry up a bit more because like I do think teaching them how to be safe online is great. So like he had to play. It was like a little game, and it teaches you like how to deal with bullying online, like
Oh,
what
wow.
to do if someone is saying nasty things to you, who to talk to about it. And this was all in the form of a. So he was playing a game that he liked while learning how to be safe online, and I was like, that's really good. We need more stuff like that.
Do you think he engaged with the learning aspect of it? Like, did he come away with it having learned how to be safe online?
Oh yeah, because that like after he'd done the game, I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. I was like, so what do you do if someone who you don't know messages you? And he said, I don't respond to them.
Oh, amazing.
So I was like, yes, it works. So see, that's a 7-year-old. So it's not even like they can't grasp these things. It's just for them in a specific way. So I definitely think education to also get involved there in terms of like technology works.
What
See,
do you guys think about the sort of the tech that's being developed at the moment, like VR headsets and spatial computing, AR headsets?
there is some really fascinating research being done with regards to VR and
Oh, right.
amputees.
Oh.
Fuck. There's a YouTuber, Aiden Paladin, and she's a university level psychology researcher, and she was talking on a podcast the other day where it's like, oh, we're actually doing a lot of psychological research with regards to people without any limbs and how VR can help them simulate psychologically what it feels like to walk without them actually walking and stuff like that. So there's a
That'd be
lot
cool.
of positive work being done with regards to
And-
VR. So
Yeah.
very interesting where it can go.
I feel like that's the thing with it. It's so positive, but at the same time, there's also so many negative things that can happen with it.
Yeah, like, oh, we're gonna simulate a snuff film. Ooh, no thanks.
Yeah.
I think that's where the regulations and these sort of global councils need to come in, because people who, like, even in the documentary, like these people that came up with these like the guy that came up with a like button, he did it to share positivity, and that's what he was excited about. But then it's, how do we then regulate around the what ifs? Like, what if this gets to a point where this is causing an increase sorry, my cat is meowing in the background.
It's okay. Hello, kitty. I love you. I don't know you, but I love you because you're a kitty.
How the like button has increased sort of people's
Self-image
image and their
issues
self-worth
and stuff.
and mental health.
Yeah. Oh my god, I feel so sorry for the guy who created the like button, because he's probably there like, I have created a hellfire, but also I've created positivity, but oh my god. I feel really sorry for him.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
considering that that was done during the early days of social media as well, like, despite the fact that it's all been about 15 years since, we know more about it now, so we're better equipped to tackle the what ifs rather than back then where we could only think about the positives.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, the Hellfire has kind of helped educate us on what to look out for in the future, depending on if we choose to look at them or not.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we should censor creatives, or we should like slow down the production of technology, but we just need to be aware of what could go wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because like you were saying, like VR, like people talk about the VR headsets like the empathy machine. I've been watching these mini sort of short films on Guardian VR, because they do these sort of journalistic short films where you experience someone else's life. So an example was I think it was called The Party, which was about a young girl with autism. And so you put the headset on, you put your headphones in, and you start to experience these triggers, these overwhelming experiences. So like one of the examples is some cutlery drops from a table, and suddenly your vision goes blurry and you get like a ringing in your ears.
Actually, really cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's exciting and it's interesting. And someone else was talking about how VR and AR has allowed for his son, who is also autistic, new ways to communicate with people. He's able to read social cues a lot better because there are applications that will tell him, this person is happy.
That's really cool.
Really cool. But then these ideas of so these smart glasses or these spatial computing goggles, so the son can wear these and he can be he doesn't have to worry about, I can't understand what people are saying because he's walking down the street, he's wearing his glasses, his goggles, and he's told, this is what's happening, this is what this means. But then if he's wearing a filter over his eyes, what else can be communicated to him?
Yeah.
How else can he be manipulated?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That really does emphasize the point that technology is a tool, and just like one person can use a hammer to build a house and one person can use a hammer for less savory means, it all depends on the utilization of it.
Yeah, so again, I feel like it all comes down to regulation, and I really do think self-regulation is not good, because obviously these people have created things in terms of positive, but they've not considered the negative. And I feel like that's what's going to keep happening if people continue to self-regulate technology. They're going to miss things that could be harmful. So I definitely agree with the fact that there needs to be some kind of outside body that regulates the usage of it.
Yeah, and with just like any outside body, it has to be objective all the way throughout, because like if it's going to be like the ESRB in gaming and it goes, oh yeah, it's PEGI 3, so 3-year-olds can play it, but we're going to load it with microtransactions, and what we're going to do is we're going to say, oh yeah, it's available for 3 years old, but we're going to put the monetization mark on it. It's like, oh, that's great, ESRB. Fantastic, wonderful, good job. No wonder you're getting the big fucking bucks.
I think as long as they make sure that there are technical experts, but then because then these people again could just be...
Yeah, it all depends on who holds the power within the organization.
Yeah, they could be tech experts, but they could just be like, we'll just use the fact that we know how this works against people who don't know how this works. And I feel like that's what's been going on for years.
Yeah, because we can always make the argument that the AI is innocent of its creation because it's doing what it's programmed to do, but at the end of the...
To money.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Sometimes more is the number that you are looking for, and it doesn't matter where it ends.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like for people who have money, they're probably in a constant state of, what if I lose my money? I need to keep making money so that I don't have to worry about losing money.
Yeah, because once you have something, you're going to be far more fearful about losing it, so it creates a psychological dilemma of, okay, I can't relinquish it in case I lose all of it, so you need to continue to accumulate more. This is going down on a serious psychological
human
hole.
Psychology.
But I think that's also really very much related, because that's something the social dilemma also does comment on, because at the end of the day, humans are just as big of a problem in terms of the algorithms in the various sites being the way they are. So hey, I mean,
maybe
we're just one bad choice away from having another Chris Chan, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe the machine in iRobot was right.
I mean, its logic was undeniable.
My logic is undeniable.
Oh, I love Vicky.
Oh, that's it. I was like, is it? I nearly got it confused with Holly from Red Dwarf then. I was like, nope, that's a different thing.
Oh, I love iRobot. It's great. Don't care what anyone says about it. Then again, I haven't seen it in 10 years, so...
Yeah, same. I remember really enjoying it, though.
Yeah. Shia LaBeouf, baby Shia LaBeouf in there as well. Yeah. Oh my god. Remember when he was young? Yeah. I do. I remember when Holes was coming out for the first time.
Oh god. I remember Holes. I love that movie
I
and the
remember,
book.
yeah, the marketing campaign behind it. Like, I remember those things. I remember when Mulan was coming out in '98. Like, like, I was 4, but I was going, yay, movie.
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 Yeah. And then I watched it and it's still good, so hey,
Yay.
hey. But, yeah.
Well, thank you
Very.
for having me. Thank you for letting me spout all of my sad opinions,
No, it
depressing
was
I mean,
opinions.
good.
I think
I
we've come to
think
the
it's one of the
conclusion.
more interesting things we've talked about. I mean, we talk about a lot of interesting things, but this one's been kind of cool because it's been more like talking about how technology affects us and whatnot.
Yeah, and plus, I think rather than being completely negative about it, we've kind of come to the conclusion that, yeah, there are positives and there are negatives. Which side do you want,
Yeah.
kind of thing going on. So
Yeah.
I think
It
that's
kind of
Elissa's subtle
reminds
way of
me.
saying time to go.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of. Do you remember when we were on our BA and a group of students tried to make a film about social media? And basically, they did it where they had one of them decide not to use social media for a week,
Oh
and
my
based
god,
on that week,
that was so terrible.
they tried to argue about whether it's good or bad. And it's like you need more than a week to try
Oh,
and discover to figure that out.
that.
Like I get what you're trying to do. It was like you can see what they were trying to do, and you can see they put the work in, but you're like you can't really decipher the effects of 1 week. I
Like,
don't think.
that film, after watching it, as someone who did a lot of science related subjects all the way up until university, you have no idea how much that quote unquote experiment triggered me.
Yeah, I mean, when I was sitting there watching it with you, I was like, "Oh my god, I think he's like
Like, I was just
feeding."
quiet, just stewing, and then just kind of left it. Because if I opened my mouth, I knew I was just gonna say, "You fucking retard" or something that'll get me
I
kicked
know.
out.
I
So,
was just like, "Oh god, oh no." But yeah, and that kind of when I was watching this, that popped up into my head, and I was like, "Oh, like that's what they were trying to do, but they didn't do
yeah,
it
this
very
is done,
well."
but done right.
Yeah, like it takes more than a week to. I think the experiment was was a week of not using social media. It's like, well, how's a week really long enough to tell the effect?
Yeah, and plus, like, if you are going to be doing it for a week, you got to have multiple experiments. First, you got to have a control experiment where you record all the numbers. Then you got to have, like, instead of going cold turkey, it's like, oh, what social media affects you more? Run week-long
Yeah.
tests with each of them, and then do a full week and see how the behavior changes. Like, that there was a fascinating film in there. They just didn't make it.
Mm,
That's what I'll say. And if any
yeah.
of you who made that are here, it was shit, man. I'll tell you now.
Oh no. I mean, that's why I'm saying group of people. I'm not here to dox anyone. I'm not here to hate on anyone's filmmaking. It just reminded me of that film,
Can't
and
remember
I
who
see
made
what
it, to be honest.
I can, but
Oh, that
obviously,
makes one of us.
but I'm not here to say like, oh, it was terrible and you shouldn't have done it. Like, I'm just saying like, I see what it was trying to do and it didn't do it very well. That's
So
all.
it's
And
funny
I
what you can do with a budget.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah, and like that was a good concept, but for a concept where you actually had a budget and not a university deadline. Like
Yeah,
that
like
was
see,
a
I feel like
multi-year project.
the deadline also influenced how long they did it for and influenced literally everything to do with it. And it's like if you're working to a deadline, then it is going to be shortened. Then it isn't. Like there are some things where you need the time to put the effort into it.
Especially when it comes to something as complicated as what they were trying to go after. So yeah. But Elissa, was that your subtle way of telling us that it is time for you to bid us adieu?
Yeah, I'm gonna cook dinner.
That's cool. But yeah, this was a fascinating topic that you brought to us, Elissa. I would like to thank you for
It
bringing
was.
it.
Thank you.
Hopefully, you will join us again. I've been messaging you with regards to joining us for Mondo. And
Yeah.
Mando is gonna be a massive like a group of people. It's
oh
gonna be
god, I
great.
hope so, because it's gonna
Absolute
be
chaos.
it's gonna be me trying to tell everyone. It's like, look, guys, it's cool to like it, but it's kind of shit for like
There
2
will
to
be-
4 hours.
Oh my god, it literally might be you versus 4 other people that like it.
Do you know what? I'll take you all on. I'm that confident. But yeah, hopefully you can join us for Mando as well. We're planning on having that next week. So muhahaha.
Oh yeah.
But
I can watch
yes.
it again.
I
Thank-
will speak to you very soon. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming,
No,
and
anytime.
thank you everyone for joining us on this week's stream. So
Yeah.
take care and goodbye.
Oh, do we want to do any recommendations?
Watch this
I
film.
just remembered. Yeah, watch this film.
It's on Netflix. Go watch it. It's good. It's very good.
It is very good. It's very thought-provoking and
And it's brisk,
Not
90
even-
minutes. By the time you realize whether you like it or not, you're already halfway there.
you're like, oh, it's finished. Cool.
So,
It's very fascinating.
ta-ta,
Everyone
cheerio,
should
everyone.
watch it. Yep. Bye-bye. I'll see ya.